Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Midwest Married. I'm Matt.
And I'm Amy.
And thank you for tuning in. Amy, what are we talking about tonight?
Okay, so we are going to relive the best of days and the worst of days. The college years.
All right.
Yes. So we both had quite different college experiences, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, you made the tour.
I did the tour.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why I have no affiliation on whatsoever.
You had your favorite college out of all of them that you went to.
Yeah, yep. I went to UWS, was probably the best.
Yeah.
University of Wisconsin Superior for me. It was small class sizes, and I went and got my master's at Scholastica, which wasn't bad either. Also small class sizes. I did Lake Superior College when I started. Mm-hmm. I did UMD. Mm-hmm. Yep, and that's when I bounced to then UWS and then Scholastica.
Yeah.
So yeah, did all the current colleges in Duluth, Minnesota.
Nice
and
little tour.
It took me like 8 years. I mean, lots of people go to college for 8 years, right?
Absolutely.
They're called doctors.
Oh, well, we each have our different routes, right?
Yep.
So it's
there we
okay.
go.
So college is a hot topic, I think, these days. I think, especially when you and I were going to school or high school, I remember being told, well, college is the only way to go. You can't make a good living if you don't go to college. You have to go to college, etc. Now I think that the message is a little bit different, which is nice because they're acknowledging the fact that not everybody has to go to college to be successful and be really awesome in life. And I think that a lot of people are focusing more on uplifting the trades too, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that.
So, today let's dig deep and see if we have any good advice for everybody going to college these days.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
I think that sounds like a good plan because it's a hot topic.
All right. So I'm going to start with, because you are completely blind to all of this today. It was my job to be the taskmaster for the podcast today.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with funny.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Tell me your funny college story. Here's mine. Not mine specifically, but a very funny person on Reddit. I was doing an assignment that was due in 30 minutes in the library. 5 minutes left, I quickly print my assignment, print my name on top, and hurry to class and turn it in. A few days later, my professor emails me saying that my assignment was identical to another person and that I will be getting a 0 for the assignment. I was like, WTF, because I don't talk to anyone in class and I knew I didn't cheat. So I said, okay, I will talk to you in the next class. So in the next class, me and this girl stay behind and the professor hands us our assignments. And they were exactly the same. Apparently, she printed hers in the library before me, and I guess she printed an extra. And I accidentally picked hers up and just saw the top and assumed it was mine. But luckily, the assignment was 2 pages, and I somehow took her first page, but my second page. So that kind of told the professor that I didn't mean to cheat, since we each wrote about a different topic. I was able to print mine again and turn my assignment in. LOL. This is the stuff that I literally still have, nightmares about. Do you ever have, the academic nightmares where you're, accused of cheating, or you show up to class without, your pants or something?
No.
What?
No. I don't have those nightmares.
Am I alone in this?
I've forgotten everything about school. I don't worry about that at all.
Oh my gosh. I literally
nightmares.
just this past week had a nightmare that something about school, you can't find your class or something like that.
No.
Well, we were kind of two different people, especially in school growing up.
You tried and cared, and I did what
maybe
I had to
a little
get
too
by.
much sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
For the most part. I mean, I turned it around end of high school.
Right.
And then college, I started back out at the bottom. I did the tour.
Yeah. But you found your place.
I found my place, and then I picked it back up.
Right.
But I mean, calculus,
Oh, God.
don't ask me how I passed.
Well, yeah. Well, it took me 3 times. Calculus, not my thing, you guys.
Me too. And I cheated every time.
I did not cheat.
I definitely did.
Oh, geez.
I don't know a single person in our class that didn't.
Oh, see, that's bad. That's when there's something wrong with the professor, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not plagued by these nightmares from school?
I'm just going to say, yeah. No, I have no nightmares.
Okay.
No nightmares. I'm in the clear.
Okay.
I dream about work. I dream have panic attacks. Like, oh my gosh, I overslept. And
Oh, see, I never have those.
and I'll wake up and be like, oh, it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh.
Can't go to sleep now.
I never have those. Okay, here's one
All
more
right.
funny story, and then
Okay.
we'll kind of dive into some maybe more serious college discussion.
Fair enough.
Okay. Once I was going to the bathroom and I wasn't paying attention as I was on my phone. I walked through the door and I put my phone down and splashed some water on my face to wake myself up. As I'm drying my face, this dude walks in and is like, "Oh shit, my bad," and walks out. I kind of laughed at him because, LOL, he came into the wrong bathroom. Dude walks back 2 seconds later, shrugs, and goes, "I don't care. If you gotta go, you gotta go." I'm like, wait, what? And as he's walking to the stalls, I turn and see a urinal, and I'm like, oh shit. Quickly grabbed my stuff and ran out. Funniest part was there was another dude in the next stall and was probably looking through the crack like, why is there a girl in here? I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's definitely happened.
Yeah.
Like everybody from at one point in their life is going to walk into the wrong bathroom. Usually the urinals are a dead giveaway, but she must have been pretty tired.
Must have been.
Slept, messed up.
Must have been. Okay.
And I think guys are way more forgiving about that. Like, especially in the college years, and after, I don't know, we're at the bar. Women use the men's bathroom all the time.
Well, the line for the women's is out the door all the time. I don't know why they don't triple the number of stalls that are for women versus men, but they really should. I think that should be written in some sort of rule somewhere.
Yeah.
Building code.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
You guys just need to expand your bladders.
When you break the seal.
Just saying.
Okay. How about a more serious one?
All right, let's do it.
Okay. This is, I'm honestly not excited to go to college. I'm 17 years old and I'll be going to college this fall. I found out my roommate assignment and I found out my roommate about 2 months ago. I was already nervous about sharing a room with someone I barely know, so I decided to reach out to my roommate the day I found out and introduce myself. This was almost 2 months ago and he still hasn't responded. I kind of regret not choosing my own roommate, honestly, because at least then I would know the person I'm rooming with. My current roommate doesn't even seem interested in getting to know each other before living together for almost a whole year. Second of all, I'm sort of an introvert and socially awkward. I actually used to be an extrovert before I started getting bullied last year. This guy used to bully me every day about my hair. I was born with a weird hairline and he would bully me all the time for it. He would also call me ugly all the time. I don't know why I didn't just slap him and get it over with, but instead I just let it get to me. Anyways, I did try to improve my appearance, my working out, growing out my hair to cover my hairline, and dressing better, but I'm still shy and socially awkward. When I was younger, I came up with this dream of joining a NPHC fraternity, and I honestly still want to join one, but I'm so shy and socially awkward, I don't know how someone like me could join one, to be honest. I also want college to be a reset for me. I want to make new friends, but I'm introverted and shy. How am I going to make new friends? Even when people approach me, I am stuttering and I don't know what to say. It's honestly embarrassing, and I want to change. I just don't know how. I never went to any of the dances in high school. The only games I went to were football games, and I went because I was in marching band. When I quit marching band, I stopped going to the games. I want college, again, to be a reset for me. I want to participate in all sorts of stuff. I want to be an academic weapon. I want to make new friends. I'm just nervous that none of that will happen because of my shy personality. Besides the social aspect of college, I'm very excited to go. Going to college puts me one step closer to getting into medical school and achieving my dream career, which makes me very excited.
I should have been taking notes. There's a lot to unpack there.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is he wants a reset, and college is the place that you can do that.
Absolutely.
More than likely, most people, he's not going to know anybody. Realistically, you have the opportunity to step out of your shell. You can reinvent yourself. You can be whoever you want to be. If you're shy, and this is a hurdle, something that person is going to have to get comfortable with, is stepping out of their shell and putting themselves out there and not having that self-fear.
Right.
And just going out, doing it, and signing up for activities and going to other things beyond just the marching band at football games, and go to hockey games, join clubs, find your interests, and you're going to find your group of people. You're not alone. You're not the only shy, introverted person.
And that's kind of the beauty, especially of the freshman year of college, is because you're going somewhere and everyone's going to be in the same boat. Everyone's going to be looking to establish a new set of friends. They're not going to be going in with pre-established cliques. They're all going to be, kind of looking to find their thing.
Right.
So I think that sets you up for quite the advantage. I think also it sounds like, okay, so he's going to be rooming with someone, so he's going to be in the dorms. That's one thing that I never did in undergrad. And I think personally for me, that made my college experience harder. And you didn't either. This has kind of been one of the things that we have given advice to, like some of your cousins who are going off to college. If you can make it happen, I think it's really, really great to stay in the dorms your first year or two. Yeah,
I agree. And I think if you're not in the dorms, you have to get involved and find somebody who lives in the dorms maybe. My cousin is in softball. She's a college athlete. So that automatically puts her into a friend group, which makes it a lot easier for her. She's not in the dorms, but I would say, getting involved in activities and putting yourself on campus as much as possible is huge. Especially, I'll take our good friend, Ryan Miller. He went to the dorms, and one of his best friends is from college. They met in the dorms. Ryan was hanging out in his room, and here comes Chevy marching down the hallway, pops in the room. He's like, "What's up, guys?"
I can totally see him doing that, by the way.
Yeah. And ever since then, they just started hanging out, and that was it. They've been lifelong friends ever since.
Yeah. Do you wish you had lived that experience?
I don't know. Yes and no. I think
your path was so non-traditional, I suppose.
Well, you had to be academically fit to get into a college that had dorms. And at the time, I was not. 4.0 on my master's, though, people. So,
hey, you just worked your way up in the world. Is that an elevator joke?
Zing. And I sell elevators now. Was a late bloomer.
Yeah, that happens. Sometimes and that's another thing. Maybe you're just not ready right out of high school.
Yeah, my passions did not rely on school whatsoever, or getting a good job. Yeah, it had crossed my mind, but I was more concerned about bow hunting and wakeboarding and partying. And at that time, I was also working, a serving job, which I was working nights, 5 to 3 a.m., 6 to 3s. Yeah. So when you get off at work at 3, you're home by 4, you don't really want to wake up for a 8:30 or 9 o'clock class.
Yeah.
It's just wasn't in the cards for me then.
Weren't quite setting yourself up for success at that moment.
No, I wasn't an academic weapon.
I love that he wants to be an academic weapon. I think that's my favorite part of this entire thing.
Yeah, good for him.
Also, just as someone who works in medicine, I will tell you that some of my most favorite doctors on the planet are a little socially awkward. So you're going to fit right in.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Embrace that. Embrace that part of you.
There you go.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And, he talks about being bullied.
I know. I hate that.
Super sad. Bullying sucks.
Don't bully people. Just don't do it.
Again, I think in college, I really didn't see any bullying.
Yeah. It's weird because in high school, everybody works so hard to fit in. And then I feel in college, it's a little bit of the opposite. Like people are like almost go out of their way to be different and kind of set themselves apart. Maybe because they're trying to set themselves apart a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen on a college campus. I just think it happens a lot less. And
hopefully
high school is so much smaller.
Right.
You see it more, you hear about it more, and then
so many more clicks. Sometimes you're with the same people since elementary school.
Right.
Yeah. So it makes a difference. One thing too that I was thinking as I was reading this was, he just feels, it feels like he's really saying, I'm really insecure about a bunch of these things and my shyness and my introvertedness and so forth. College is also a time really that, at least for me, and it really didn't happen until grad school, but where you can kind of step into yourself. And once you find your confidence because you're accomplishing these goals and you're doing these hard things and you're opening your mind and you're seeing different ways that people live that were different from the way that you were brought up. Like you're living all of these different experiences. And perhaps you're also, for the first time, on your own a little bit. Like you're not depending on your social network or support system that you had growing up, your parents, your family, so forth. And so that whole process in general really can boost your confidence by itself. Yeah. So you can leave, you might be insecure now going into college, but the person that you are when you leave college might be completely different. So yeah. That's also a big possibility. So I think he should be excited. Okay, wait a minute. We didn't address the biggest issue that he had was that his roommate was not responding to him and doesn't seem like he's going to want to hang out or get to know each other before school actually starts. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Everyone's different. I mean, maybe his roommate is very introverted as well. Maybe that's why he doesn't want to get together. Or maybe he's extroverted and he's like, yeah, when we get there, we'll just hang out. Like I'm too busy. I have a lot of things going on. Right. I don't know if they're in the same town. I don't know. Usually I would think a phone call is sufficient in my mind, or a Zoom call. Like, hey, how's it going? Hey, we're going to be rooming. Just wanted to introduce myself. If you need anything beforehand, happy to help you move in. Here's when I'm going to be there. Here's the dates. Mm-hmm. And let's just stay in touch and we'll go from there. At the end of the day, I don't know. It's somebody you're going to have to live with, and that's a challenge. I think that's a part of college, and also a part of growing up is learning to deal with some adversity, we'll say, if things aren't jiving.
Right. The bad roommate. Ugh.
The bad roommate. We've had them.
But it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've had them. You have to work through it.
But at the end of the day, there's a full dorm of people.
Yes.
You don't need to be in your room 24/7. It's unlikely that your roommate is going to be in the room 24/7. So you have the opportunity to escape, go hang out in other rooms, etc.
I've heard of instances where roommates didn't get along and they said a total of 10 words to each other the entire time because they just they just slept there and that's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not the end of the world,
Right.
Even if you and your roommate like are not a match made in heaven.
Yeah. I agree.
You still have the dorm
So-
experience. You have a whole bunch of other people. Yeah, so I wouldn't let that get him down. I think that there's so many other things that he has to look forward to.
Worst case scenario, it's so bad, you talk to your RA and you request a transfer. You move to a different dorm,
go.
or you find, one semester in, maybe your roommate bounces out.
Yep.
Good riddance.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah,
Here's
we
a
gotta
good reply.
We should talk about the fraternity real quick.
Okay. Let's talk about the fraternity. He's thinking about joining a fraternity, but he doesn't just quite know if he's seems like cool enough for a fraternity.
Yeah. He should
The
do
type.
it.
Yeah.
Try it. You might end up hating a fraternity. I don't know.
Try it. You might end up hating it.
I don't know.
You have great advice, Matt.
Dude. And then on the other hand, you might love it.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, you might love it.
I just love that.
God, I just think.
But I love it because,
there's
hey.
my bias coming out.
No,
I mean,
no,
I
here's.
think fraternities are great, but they're
well,
not for everybody. And
I like what you did there because it's kind of like, what's the worst that can happen? You hate it. And so then you
quit.
That's literally the worst that can happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, fraternity is, your sister was in a sorority.
Yep.
We went to one of her sorority events and I thought you were going to propose. And then I was very mad at you for that entire night. So,
yeah.
that was memorable.
Sure, we'll touch on that at some point.
I think we already have. Anyway, but she really enjoyed that. She had the camaraderie of all the sorority sisters, and they really focused a lot on outreach and volunteering and making your community a better place. And there's a lot of networking opportunities available for like alum of that sorority or fraternity. So, yeah. And I think it's all about finding the right fit. I think there's different types, right? So find the group of people that you jive with and go for it.
Right. And he listed one off, and I have no idea about anything. But yeah, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Right.
So give it a
Try
go.
it.
Give it a go.
Love it.
Same with all those activities.
Yeah. What's the worst that can happen?
Maybe skip marching band for a semester. Do some karate or rowing or...
Marching band is still really cool.
It is cool. Drumline? Maybe try drumline. I don't know.
Have you seen? Yeah. I think he should also do marching band. Okay.
All right.
So here's a reply. Hi, I'm an upcoming sophomore and I completely relate to you. I had 0 friends in high school due to mental health issues and being socially awkward due to being neurodivergent and being weird compared to everyone else. I literally didn't join a single club in high school or go to a single event or dance. In college, I do have some friends, but they seem closer to others. Also, I did join a couple clubs, but it's hard to put myself out there, and my attendance for clubs got worse second semester due to some worsening mental health. It's cool that you're thinking of joining a fraternity. I'm also thinking of rushing a social fraternity this fall to force me to break out of my shell and to learn how to have fun. I never wanted to join a fraternity or go to parties despite choosing to attend a party school, but as I became more sick of my current lifestyle and some friends rushed this semester, it made me want to rush this fall. What? I don't understand.
So rush is like trying to get into the fraternity and
is this oh my gosh, am I just too old to understand what the kids are saying?
Nope, this has been around for a long time. Nope.
Okay, well, anyway. I would say go for it. You can always leave it if you end up hating it. Please don't listen to any random nerd on here that tells you not to join one because most people on Reddit are anti-frat, LOL. Well, that's all I can say. I wish you the best of luck. And then OP says, I'm also going to a party school. I don't even know why I decided to go to a party school considering my personality. Thank you for telling me your experience, though. I hope your experience gets better.
So you can put yourself out there. That's why you're going to that school. Put yourself out there. Go to the party. Go do the things.
Right.
You're trying to reinvent yourself. And good on this other person for, recognizing and wanting to also be better and go out and try new things.
Yeah, trying new things is hard, for sure.
Yeah.
It's really hard, but it's the best time to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Another person says you won't have to worry about bullying in college. All you have to do is report and report. My school has an amazing coordinator who helped me with a bully in college. It's considered harassment if someone is legitimately bullying you.
True.
Since everyone is an adult. Just keep everything documented, especially messages, photos, etc. They can easily have punishment of expulsion if things are severe enough. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, doesn't happen.
Okay, want to move on?
Yeah, I think before we move on, we talked a lot about my adventure with college and my path. Why don't you explain why you're wearing a Jacksonville Jaguars hat?
Okay, so this was the closest that I had to representing my college experience. So, so I'll talk a little bit about my route then because it's a little bit different.
Let's see it.
My hat?
Yeah, it's sparkly.
I know, it's so sparkly. Okay, so I was a big nerd, if anyone can believe it, in high school.
Nope.
Big nerd. My friends were all very, very studious. And so I remember being competitive with my friends about who could get the best grade on the quiz and on the test, with my friends. That's what we competed against each other with. And so graduated high school fairly well, not the valedictorian, but was very close and kind of got myself burnt out, even because I worked so hard at it and stressed out so much about it in high school. So yes, I'd stress out probably a bit too much about it in high school. So then I've also have really strong roots here in Minnesota. And my mom went to a certain local college. My oldest brother went to a certain local college. And honestly, I didn't even apply to any other colleges. My family didn't really encourage me to go see the world or to do anything different. They encouraged me to save money, live at home, go to this college because mom went to it and oldest brother went to it, and it's a great college.
You are missing one of the biggest factors.
What?
You had an amazing high school boyfriend that was also staying close to home.
Yes. The amazing high school boyfriend.
Can you believe this?
Yes. Who was also the reason why, I don't know, we had a lot of ups and downs during our college years. So anywho, I decided... Growing opportunities. Yes, that's how they would talk about it nowadays. Okay. So then I decided to go to that local college. I decided to live at home because it was cheaper. First couple years, I had a really tough time making friends. I went to class, I went to the library, but I really didn't know anybody. And I also still had you, my other friend group that I could rely on. So I didn't really have to make friends in the new college, even though I wanted to.
Right.
So, college years were a little bit rough and rocky, I would say, because I felt already so burnt out from being so perfectionistic, and college was just a different level than high school. High school, you could get away with little, I don't know, you could get away with more, I guess, in a way, and still achieve the really high scores. Maybe it was just because they were smaller class sizes or whatnot. You could rely more on your teachers for caring about you. And then going to a big college, you went to lecture halls, and being introverted also, I was very introverted. I never got to know my professors. And I just tried to do my work, keep my head down, and didn't really get super involved. Fast forward, you have a boyfriend who's a server, who's partying it up, and perhaps have a bit different aspirations or goals for that time in their life.
That's fair.
A little bit of some rocky patches there. A little bit of some family stressors, I would say. There's a couple deaths in my family. We had broken up at one time. My grandma got cancer. So one whole semester I had to drop. And so that was really hard. Going through all of the growing up stuff during college. Like it's not just college that you're dealing with. It's
Right.
the life stressors as well.
And I will also speak on that college because I did try that out for a semester.
Mm-hmm.
I got 1A and 4 Fs. I was then,
It was not great for you either.
I was then immediately booted out.
You are not cut out for this.
They didn't like me, but I agree. I did not like the lecture halls. I did not like going to a room with 300 some odd kids. And I think after like the first like 3 classes, I was just like, I am so lost.
Yeah.
And have no flipping idea of what to do here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I just, we had recently broken up right upon my start of that college.
Oh, yeah. So,
and
not a
I
great time.
only showed up for public speaking, and the rest I just, that was it. So then I played several full seasons of NHL on PlayStation, and that was good. It was a good time in our lives. And then I also took the next semester off because nowhere would accept me right away.
You know what? Sometimes you got to regroup.
And I did. We did.
Sometimes, yes. So we did. So also, word of wisdom here. If you are going through a really hard time in your life, whether it's a mental health problem, whether it is family stressors or some trauma that's happened, one of the best things you can do is let the school know right away. I tried to muddle through, and it's a little bit harder on the back end once you've like almost admitting defeat. But because I had been someone who had been, such a good student, it was pretty apparent that it was really hard for me to admit that I was not meeting expectations because that was something that had never happened to me before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually ended up going to my medical doctor. We talked about it, and she helped support me and get a note so that I could then drop the classes that we struggled with. So that added a semester onto things. And so it took me a total of 5 years to get my 4-year degree. No shame in that.
That's all right.
Yep.
And pro tip, if you are one of those people that has a hard time and then you need to get back into a college or they want explanation for your poor grades, just write an essay about how you were going through a difficult time and you had to focus on self-growth and recognize all the things you needed to change in your life to be able to succeed, and how you're doing so much better now and ready for the next phase of kicking ass.
That is
and they'll let you in
tip.
On academic probation.
There we go. Yeah. So it's not over and done with. You can still move on and move forward if you want to.
Yeah.
Good. See, roadblocks happen, stumbling blocks happen, and you don't have to be done in the, okay, it takes 4 years to get your undergrad. It's like, this is the cookie cutter recipe. And if you don't do it exactly that way, you're not a success.
Right.
Throw that view out the window.
And I'm really giving myself just a bad look right now, but I did finish my 4-year degree with a 3.2 GPA.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Way to go. That's good. Okay, so that was undergrad. Also, during undergrad, I had envisioned that I was going to be a dentist. And if I'm honest with myself, and I kind of knew it all along, the reason I wanted to be a dentist was because, dentists are pretty successful when it comes to their finances. And it seemed like an okay thing to do. But deep down, I really realized that was the definite wrong reasons to pursue that role. Also, I am the last person on the planet who wants to own my own business. That sounds kind of awful to me. I'm averse to risk taking, doing all the numbers. Calculus took me 3 times to get a lovely C. I did really good in all the maths before calculus. Anyway. Mm-hmm. Not a great look for me. However, all throughout undergrad, I had worked as a CNA for an advanced assisted living. And I loved my work there. I loved taking care of my patients or their residents holistically. I loved, caring for all of their needs, seeing them as people, doing their hair, playing cribbage with them, really truly caring for them. I loved that. And so after college, I took a couple years off because I did not know what to do. And I continued to work as a CNA. And one of my very best friends, who I actually now work with, Sarah, she was like, Amy, you love taking care of people. Why don't you go be a PA? And I was like, what is a PA? I have no idea what that is. And then I looked into it and I was like, well, I guess that's something that I can try and do. Sounds, I do like taking care of people. I applied to a million different colleges because I was aware that it was kind of late in the application process and I didn't want to put all my eggs in one basket. And at that time, there was only one PA school in Minnesota. And that was Augsburg. And at that point in time, it took 3 years instead of 2 years to complete. And it was a private school. So it cost more because it took longer to stay even semi-close to home than it did to travel outside of town. So I ended up getting accepted at Nova Southeastern University in Jacksonville, Florida. Thus, the Jaguars hat. And I like to say that PA school was the best and hardest time of my life. And that was kind of like the true time that was like the true college years for me, where I found myself. I really enjoyed it because I was actually studying something that I had passion about and was interested in.
That makes a big difference.
I really didn't care about some of the classes that they forced me to take, calculus. But everything in PA school was so geared towards what I was interested in. It was like more fun to study. And then in that program, there were 50 people. And so I thought that that was large enough to find like my pockets of friends that are awesome and I really, really jived with. And so
that we're still friends with.
That we are still friends with today. Like even though we live in Florida and Texas and, one of our close friends is still in Minnesota, but to find those lifelong friendships was so worth it to me. So yeah, PA school, best, hardest time of my life. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much were tickets to go see the Jags play?
Yes. So back in the day, this was also one of the best things. Back in the day, the Jaguars were not very good. I don't know. Are they good now? I have no idea.
They're
okay?
better.
Okay. Back in the day, tickets to the NFL game were $25 a piece. And they were good tickets. And these, I don't know, I don't think it was just student pricing. I think it was just that they needed people to come to their games so badly that it was literally $25 a piece. So my brother and his friends had come down to visit me and I brought them all to a NFL game and it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So the Jaguars.
There we go.
Yeah.
It's a fun route, fun adventure.
Yeah, that was a fun adventure.
We made it.
We made it. And we made it. Yeah. So we were long distance. You visited and
we did the deal.
Yeah, it was good. And then I came back. Yeah. So there's no place like home, right?
All right. You got
the hero's journey. I think they refer to that as.
Yes.
Yes.
The hero's journey.
Yes. Where you have to leave home, face adversity, find yourself, and then you circle back home a hero.
Yeah. I think it was that period of time, and especially for you going away.
Oh, yes.
I think was a lot of growth on both our parts where we had to be on our own for a while. Right.
And for me, it just boosted my confidence so much. It really showed me what I could do and perhaps my self-worth. And so I think I came back with a different attitude, even towards friend groups that maybe like they were more your friends than my friends. I came back and with the attitude of like, hey, I am a worthwhile human being. And if they don't care for me, then that's their problem. Right. And that actually made my relationships with all of your friends like so much better too, because I think I was more relaxed. I was able to be myself and people saw that. So kind of cool.
All right.
Hit
us with the next one.
Here we go. This is a little bit of a different one.
Okay. I'm excited.
I don't know.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
So, how to reclaim my life. OP writes, background info. I had no life and wasn't allowed to have one, and now I'm dealing with the consequences. I had no hobbies or interest and wasn't even allowed to go outside in my own backyard because of my parents' religious beliefs.
Oof.
I picked my first major because it was one of the few things I showed interest in, forensics and law. So I decided to go with criminal justice. Why? No idea. I just wanted to become a lawyer and get away from my family. High school counselors didn't care about me, and I went to some random 2-year transfer community college. Nobody at home cared about me, and I'm first gen, so they didn't even drive me to school. They don't value education. I wasn't allowed to learn how to drive, and I took my classes almost all online. I got my associates in criminal justice, but my home life got much, much worse, and it was already very bad, unrelated to the degree. I realized that the community justice into law school route wasn't realistic. I needed to be realistic about my life and goals. What do I want? To be far away from home, to make a name for myself. So I switched to business and think I'll specialize in finance or supply chain. Okay, now I have goals that wouldn't put me in $300,000 of debt. Now what? 2 more years at some community college. So I spent 4 years at a 2-year community college because I was a fool who had no one to guide me. It's my fault too, but I'm upset. People I know got into prestigious Ivy League schools, full ride to Stanford. My friend is about to go to med school and finished his bachelor's, and I'm still here as a 21-year-old student with a bunch of 17-year-olds. Now, I don't know why I feel the urge to apply to all these nice, faraway, prestigious schools and get away. Will I have a chance? Probably not. But will I try? Yes. Am I upset it took me until 21 to take control of my life? Yes. I was so oppressed that I had no extracurriculars in high school, literally wasn't allowed to volunteer, play sports, or join clubs. I was only allowed to work to pay the bills. Every time I was dropped off to work, I was threatened with being, sold to prostitution if my dad caught me looking too long at a man. I was depressed and didn't care about my grades or life as much as a high schooler, but I care now, and I care so much. I don't know what to do with myself. What now? What can I do to reclaim my life? I want to transfer out and go somewhere nice. What can I do to increase my chances so I don't look back and hate myself for having my entire life wasted?
That's depressing. Why'd you got to pick that one?
Well,
Holy moly.
I think it's serious. Like college and the decisions, like we make light of some things, right? Like with our funny stories and so forth, but college can sometimes really be a place of finding yourself and new beginnings and so forth.
So to recap, just so we're on the same page,
Okay.
she had a tough upbringing.
Yep.
Parents didn't sound super great, had some religious views. She wanted to go into criminal justice, wanted to be a lawyer.
Yep.
Found out that was not her path. She didn't like that.
Yep. Switched
after 2 years.
Yep.
And now she's going for something new.
Yep. So she's already been through
And now
close to 2 years.
So she only has technically 2 more years.
She's 21. So if you started at 18, that would be like she's 3 years into it. And she feels like she's wasted her time doing all of this stuff. And she feels old going to be with 17-year-olds. What do you think about that?
I disagree completely. I think that your 20s should be, you can always go to school. You can go to school anytime. If you're unsure of where you're at, take a break. If you want to get into a specific school that is prestigious or you need to get to a certain academic level, figure out how you're going to get there. And I know that there's a timeline. Each school has a timeline. You have to do X amount of courses within so many years or they start erasing your credits, like fall off. But figure out what it's going to take. You have your associates right now. You don't need to jump into your next 2-year program. Go out and figure out what it is you actually want to do. And if it's business, if it's supply chain management, if it's marketing, whatever that may be, and then talk to that school. Go there, be like, here's where I'm at. Here's what I want to do. I want to go here. What does that look like? Where do I need to be at? Okay. And at college, the guidance counselors, they're a lot different than maybe what they were in high school. You have people that are getting paid to help you succeed, and they want you to go to their college because you're going to spend money there.
Yeah, it's almost like a business in itself. And once you're there, they want you to succeed because it looks bad for the college if people do not complete their degree. Like if they accept them into the program and if you're not doing well, like it looks bad on the college.
Right. So take you're 21, take a couple, take a couple
You're
years
so young.
off.
It's okay. You are not behind the
Go
ball.
travel. And brought up a lot of things like didn't do any extracurricular activities in high school. I'm so disappointed I didn't do that in high school. Guess what? You can reinvent yourself. You can go and you can do all the things now. You can go out and join those clubs. You can find intramurals at school if that's the route you go. There are clubs in most towns, right? Like we could go and join I could go hockey, softball, volleyball, bowling. There's so many things that you can do in places you can insert yourself. So thinking that just because you didn't do it in high school doesn't mean that you can't go out and do it now.
Right. And if you have a specific career path that you want, then choosing a job that is going to support you, like that can be preparation for school too. Like I worked as a CNA. That actually helped me get into PA school because it was showing that I had interest in the field. I was willing to do a little bit of like the grunt work in order to get to where I wanted to go.
Right.
So if you have an internship or working one of the lower jobs in some company that you really appreciate or enjoy, if it's some business thing, dipping your toes into the pool before you dive in. So don't really specifically choosing the jobs that you're working to help you get to your end goal.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So
I will say that this person seems pretty defeated.
I know.
It almost seemed like a lot of poor me. And I just think that there needs to be an attitude adjustment a little bit or reframing how she's looking at things.
Because I definitely think it sounds like she has reason to have those feelings. Like if her family and her parents were legit saying, like threatening,
sell you off to prostitution.
I know.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Insanity.
That is insanity. No, like that should never ever come out of a parent's mouth. So you are worth so much more than that if that's the message that you're hearing. Agreed.
And yeah, I would stay far away from your parents, and I would.
I think
try. This is time to reinvent yourself.
Right.
If it was me, if I could go back, I would have never started school. I'd go, I'd travel, I'd figure it out. I'd try to snag Amy with me. Let's just skip college. But I mean, there's so many things that you can go out and do and try.
You live and learn, though. You live and learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So she's got years. You're not behind. 21. Some people don't even start school until then. They don't have anything figured out. Mm-hmm. And I graduated, I don't know, I was 26. Yeah, I was 26, maybe 27 even.
When you graduated with your undergrad?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see, that's...
Pretty sure.
Yeah. And then you went on and did your master's. Okay, so here's also a question. Was your master's worth it? Because you had your undergrad. You had some help with paying for your undergrad and some scholarships and grants and that kind of thing because you were also a first-gen college student.
Right.
And then the student loans that you do still have are from your master's program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a really hard because did I enjoy going and getting my master's? I mean, at the time I thought it was great. Like it was very easy for me at that time because at least in my field, which was Master Business Administration with focus on marketing, as long as you're able to take your own ideas and write about them, you're golden. As long as you can express what you're trying to convey, right?
Yes.
And it makes sense. So that was really easy for me.
Yes.
And I do think it also taught me how to write a lot better.
Yes. That is this is a good piece of advice. Learn how to write an essay well. Learn how to articulate what you are feeling well.
Yeah.
Learn the 5-paragraph essay and learn it super well, because that is something I think that is a lifelong skill that's going to help you no matter where you go in.
Any field that you're in.
Any field.
Right.
Just learn how to write.
So that was beneficial. Did it help me get any jobs or like pay raises? People probably put me into the mix on some jobs more so, but I don't think it was the reason I got the job or didn't get the job, right? So that's a hard one. Overall, career-wise, I don't know if it was worth it, but
you learned some
personally,
stuff. All right.
it was good.
Okay.
Yeah. It would be a coin flip if I went back to do it again.
Yeah. Okay.
So
interesting. All right. So we've had some good pieces of advice, I think, maybe some nuggets here and there. But I did come across someone who also I thought had some good pieces of advice.
Yeah,
so
let's hear it.
Let me know what you think about this. Okay. Number 1. Your academic advisor is a good place to start, but you know more about your situation than them. Take the initiative before you talk to them and make your career plan on your own. Research what you need to graduate and the little oddities of your program, because trust me, there will be oddities and your general advisor will not catch it. Well, I mean, I think it's just like taking the initiative, right? Like, don't count on anybody else to know more about your program than you do.
Yeah, and again, I would research it like they suggested. I would ask the questions about things that you're uncertain of. Typically in a college setting, at least when I've worked with counselors, they've been pretty on point with what path you could take or what you needed to do in order to get somewhere. But
I've also heard of some, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I've also heard of some really shitty ones though that are like, nope, you're never going to do it. You should just not even try.
People make mistakes.
Yeah. So if you disagree, seek a second opinion or go for it or change something about that, because sometimes they don't know all. They don't know the future. Nobody knows the future.
Yeah.
So
true.
All right. Your major plan is your own. You don't have to graduate in 8 semesters. Nobody cares if you're behind. Just do what you need to do to graduate at all.
There you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yep. Eat breakfast every day, even if it's just cereal.
False. Cereal's great.
Cereal's the worst.
It's so good. But don't eat breakfast. Skip it.
Okay, how about this? Get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Your homework can wait if you manage your time right. Good sleep will save your grades and your mental health.
Debatable.
I love good sleep.
Well, yeah, it's because we're old.
I think if it's possible to get good sleep, do it. But if you have to pull that all-nighter to get a good grade, then do it. Do what you need to do.
At 21, I was going on like 4 hours of sleep and Red Bull.
Oh, man. That, it's not very healthy.
It's good, though.
I'd also say if you have the privilege to not have to work as much as, because we worked all through college as well. I think that was really, really hard.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually allowed to work in PA school. Like they have rules where you are not allowed to have a job because it's so rigorous and so demanding that you go to class all day and you study all night because like there's just, it's so compact, like all the things you need to learn.
Right.
But in undergrad, you know, we both worked and I think that was hard. So if I could go back, if I had the privilege to work less, I would have loved to have worked a little less than what I did to focus on school a little bit more. I think I could have done better in undergrad had I done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I guess I don't know what I would have done if I wasn't working. I don't know. I don't know if it would have changed anything. I made some really great friendships throughout my time at, my serving jobs.
Yeah.
So.
And you yourself say that you learned a lot through serving.
Yeah. I think if anybody gets the opportunity when they're young to go out and be a server or a bartender, customer service, I just think it changes the game. I think it changes how you look at how you treat people and how people treat you. I think it's a game changer for sure.
You still stack all the plates for our servers whenever we're done to make their lives and jobs a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's probably never going away.
Oh yeah, that's good. Be kind to your servers, everybody.
Yep.
Okay. Another piece of advice, do side projects related to your field, not assigned by your classes. Employers love when you create your own projects and have results to show for.
Yeah. You can find a job in the field, like with that business. If you can find, supply chain management, marketing, see if you can, during the summer, just go and volunteer your time. Hey, I'm interested in learning about X, Y, and Z, supply chain, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I'd really like, is there any way that I could come and work for you? Is there any way I could come and donate my time to you for X amount of hours a week? Just really interested in learning more about what it is you do.
Right.
And that's going to be huge. It's going to show initiative on your part. Teachers are going to love that. And you're going to learn about the job itself. And then that also can then guide you like, ooh, I really don't like supply chain management. Good thing I can jump into any other field in the business realm with your degree, because you're also going to take those entry level supply chain courses in business.
Right.
So yeah.
Good. So the next one, know your limits for studying and plan accordingly. Develop what works for you as far as your studying techniques. I mean, nowadays too, though, there are some amazing AI note writers that you can do all sorts of really cool, fun stuff.
Yeah.
I know. I wish that would be cool.
Yeah. Chat GPT would have changed the game.
But actually learn the material.
Yeah, you should learn the material. Yeah. You should. My study habits, it took me a long
You had to learn that because you didn't really learn that in high school, right? Like it took college to learn that for you.
Yeah. So if there was a chapter that we were going to take a test on, I would obviously take notes through class, write everything down that you could, and go back. I worked at a Perkins. I would go snag the back room. I would read the chapter and every like bold word or item in italicized, I would write it down in a notebook. I would go back. I'd hit those words and be like, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? And then I would take the practice tests in the back of the book. I'd go home at like 2, 3 in the morning. And then I'd do it again. Twice. And then I'd take the test. It went pretty well.
Yeah.
But that was awful.
This is a funny one. You ready? For us. Having a significant other in college can be amazing if it goes well, but can tear down your grades and your mental health if it goes poorly.
Lies.
That's so true.
It's lies.
That's so true. Find your priorities, people. I don't know. Worked out for us. We had a lot of bumps in the road, but...
Yeah, there was on and offs and...
Yeah, but I can definitely see...
A few bumps.
How that could impact things.
Lots of bumps.
Okay. And then they follow that by saying a significant other really isn't that important in college. Do with that what you may. I don't know.
Realistically, I mean, that's probably true. There's probably a lot of times, like, I think we talk about it in episode 2. We talked about being toxic to one another, where we probably shouldn't have been dating
right
throughout college.
Right.
Like, probably shouldn't have happened.
Yep.
And we would have been fine. And college, you're going to meet a lot of people and you could find anybody, but it worked out in our case and I'm glad it did.
Me too. All right. A good social group will improve your college experience tenfold.
Agreed.
Yep. So find them. You got to put yourself out there in order to find them.
Right.
You can't just sit at home and just drive to school, go to class, and then leave. That's what I did the whole first year.
Yeah. You got to stick around. Put yourself out there.
Absolutely. Go to dumb events, like wood painting, for no reason other than to get out and be social. You'll have more fun than you think. You'll meet new people and pick up social skills along the way. It's a learned skill, even if you feel like you're awkward and
there's so many groups. There's so many activities.
Well, especially if you're one of those people who are thinking about college now. I mean, you went through a pandemic, so you were home alone, basically like doing virtual school probably for 2 years of your high school career, right? Like that's kind of where we are.
Like a year, right?
Like a year, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. For a long time. That makes a difference. It makes an impact. Maybe you're not as comfortable putting yourself in those new situations anymore.
Right.
So just know everybody else is going to be in the same boat. So just show up.
Just show up.
That's my mantra. That got me through actually a lot of social things and a lot of hard things for school, because my unhealthy coping mechanism would be that I would avoid and I would want to like not go and like I'd skip things. But then like especially PA school, I had the mantra, just show up. Just show up, because like once you're there, it's not so bad. Or like once you're there, if you have the you can leave most of the time. If it's really bad, you can leave.
Right.
But just show up.
Yeah.
It's a good mantra. I still sometimes use it.
I love it.
Okay. And then second to last one. Seriously consider study abroad and talk to a study abroad advisor now, especially exchange programs. They are cheaper than you think.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so cool.
Right. I think that especially in this person's case, like, why not?
Right.
Doesn't have a lot of friends. Looking to...
Oh, the last person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, we kind of moved on from that. This is just a list of random advice.
Oh, yeah. For the person, though, right?
No, for anybody.
Oh, I thought we were reading other people's advice.
To this person? No.
Oh, well, here we go. Yeah.
It's just to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, most people don't travel abroad, I don't think, with friends, right? I think a lot of people do it solo, and we've met people on vacation that have been studying abroad. They've been by themselves. I think it's great. Go meet a group of new people and
my good friend Nikki, who did go and become a dentist, she studied abroad for a semester, and she had a super awesome experience with
I did not know that.
You didn't know that? She went to England, and then
did
she
we
got
know her then?
Yes.
We should have went.
Well, I mean, she was like in school.
We effed up.
Well, we were probably fighting.
Gosh, it wasn't that bad, people. We had great moments.
We also had some good moments, too. We did. Okay. It's just funny to make fun of now.
Yeah, it's fun.
Now that things are so good. All right, you ready for the last one?
All right, let's do it.
Your study is your full-time job. You may have to devote 20 plus hours a week to studying. With time management, you will be fine. It will pay out, I promise.
I was probably around that 20 plus hours a week studying. My last year.
As long as it takes, yeah.
My last year or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you have nights. If you have that privilege of working less or not working, I mean, that would be great. I mean, just the finances of the way things are now. I think that, the system's broken.
Right. So do you have any other stories? Are we
Nope,
done
that's
with
it.
stories?
We're good.
All right. So
It's me and you.
my pitch on college is I think that previously, up until recently, it was preached that you couldn't get a job without college. I think the way that we've advanced in technology, the courses, the self-education that is out there, I think that there are a lot of fields, marketing, graphic design, digital marketing. The list is endless. I think that if you really wanted to, you could do self-education and you could still probably end up with a decent job. Or if you are highly motivated and do the self-education, you could probably go out and then start your own business to the point where you don't need college. The cost of college is astronomical right now. And there needs to be some major reform, in my opinion, in a lot of different areas of how colleges are charging people and why they're charging, and etc. We won't get into that today, but you don't need to go to college. You mentioned it earlier. There is also the trades, which you're going to see a flip. There's going to be a lot more people going into welding and machining and all the different trades that are available for people. So
Super
college
cool jobs.
is not the only answer. So if you're debating, research your options. And if you're unsure, it's okay. Even if you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you're not behind.
You're never behind.
Your 20s are for learning and experiencing new things. So don't worry about it.
Yep. And try something. And if it's not the right fit, you don't have to stick in it forever. Then you can go back and try something else.
You can
or you
always
can change your major when you are however many years in. If you discover like this is it and you feel like, oh, I've wasted so much time, you just have the rest of your life. Like hopefully that is from your 20s, like 60 more years or more.
Right.
So putting it into that perspective.
What's the worst that's going to happen?
It's a drop in the bucket. Yep. Oh, that was good. Drop in the bucket. Okay, you got it.
We're going to cut that.
Okay.
Not going to do all of them.
Like, there's so many. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
This was fun. Especially, I'm proud of ourselves that we did it even after having to manage with our flooding basement
Yeah.
earlier today.
Yikes. Yeah, but we did it.
Minnesota.
So here we are.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We appreciate you.
Thank
Please
you.
follow and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.